It's Friday night, 1997. You pile into the car, drive to the blue and yellow store on the corner, and spend 20 minutes picking the perfect movie. That was Blockbuster. And for millions of Americans, it was the highlight of the week. At its peak, Blockbuster had 9,000 stores, 65 million registered customers, and was pulling in $6 billion a year. It was one of the most powerful entertainment companies on earth. Today, there is exactly one left, in Bend, Oregon, and people drive hours just to take a photo outside it. So what happened? It all started with one man, David Cook, a software developer from Dallas, Texas. In 1985, he opened the first Blockbuster store, and it was unlike anything anyone had seen before. Most video rental stores at the time were tiny, disorganized, and had maybe a few hundred titles. Cook built something completely different. 8,000 VHS tapes, 6,500 titles, a computerized barcode checkout system that tracked every single tape. Customers walked in and felt like they had entered a movie paradise. The store was massive, clean, well-lit, and had everything. Word spread fast. Within 1 year, Cook had opened 3 more stores. Within 2 years, Blockbuster had revenues of $43 million and was the 5th largest video rental chain in America. Then, in 1987, everything went supersonic. A man named Wayne Huizenga bought into Blockbuster. Huizenga was a serial entrepreneur, the kind of guy who built waste management into a billion-dollar company from nothing. He looked at Blockbuster and saw a McDonald's, something that could be stamped onto every corner of America. He launched the most aggressive expansion in retail history. At one point, Blockbuster was opening a new store every 17 hours. Let that sink in. Every 17 hours. By 1988, there were 800 stores. By 1992, over 1,000. By 1994, Blockbuster had 6,000 stores worldwide and was so dominant that Viacom, one of the biggest media companies on earth, bought it for $8.4 billion. $8.4 billion. For a video rental store, in 1994, Blockbuster wasn't just a business anymore. It was American culture. Here's the part nobody talks about. Yes, Blockbuster charged rental fees, but the real money, the money that actually made executives rich, came from something customers absolutely hated: late fees. Return your movie 1 day late, you paid $1. 2 days late, $2. Forget about it for a week, and you basically bought the movie. In the year 2000 alone, Blockbuster collected $800 million just from late fees in 1 year from people simply forgetting to return movies. That was 16% of everything they made. They weren't just a video store. They were a late fee machine that happened to rent movies on the side, and customers hated it. They complained about it. They swore they'd never go back, but they always went back because there was nowhere else to go. Until one day, they did. 1997, 2 guys named Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph started a little company out of California. They called it Netflix. The idea was almost embarrassingly simple. Mail discs directly to people's homes. Flat monthly fee. No late fees. Ever. Now here's the part that still hurts to think about. In the year 2000, Netflix walked into Blockbuster's headquarters and offered to sell the whole company for $50 million. $50 million. Blockbuster's CEO John Antioco sat across the table and laughed. Literally laughed them out of the room. He thought Netflix was a joke, a niche little service for internet nerds. Blockbuster had 9,000 stores and 65 million customers. Why would they need some disc mail company? It is one of the most catastrophically wrong decisions in the history of American business. Netflix at that meeting, $50 million. Netflix today, nearly $300 billion. For a while, things still looked fine. By 2004, Blockbuster hit their absolute peak. 9,000 stores, 84,000 employees, $6 billion in revenue, the biggest they had ever been. But underneath all of that, something was rotting. Netflix was quietly signing up subscribers, people who were done with late fees, done with driving to a store, done with the whole thing. Redbox started popping up in grocery stores, renting discs for $1 with zero drama, and the internet just kept getting faster. Blockbuster finally panicked. As a consequence, they launched Blockbuster Online, a direct copy of Netflix. They even eliminated late fees to compete, and honestly, it almost worked. John Antioco poured everything into it. By 2005, they had 2 million online subscribers and were genuinely giving Netflix a run for their money. But then the board fired him. The investors saw short-term losses from dropping late fees and lost their minds. They brought in a new guy who immediately killed the online push and brought late fees back. That was it. That was the moment. From 2005 to 2010, Blockbuster just fell apart. Stores closed by the hundreds, then by the thousands. Revenue collapsed. The debt they had taken on to build all those stores became impossible to manage. In 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. The company Viacom had bought for $8.4 billion was now drowning in nearly $1 billion of debt. Dish Network picked up the pieces in 2011, paid $320 million, less than 4 cents on the dollar compared to what Viacom paid. By 2013, every remaining corporate store was closed. 9,000 stores. Gone. And Netflix? The company Blockbuster laughed out of the room. By that point, they had 33 million subscribers and were adding millions more every quarter. Here's what most people get wrong. They say Netflix killed Blockbuster, but that's not really the story. Blockbuster had every chance to survive. They had the brand, the customers, the money. They even had their own online service that was actually working. So what really killed them? 3 things. Late fees. They built their entire business around something people hated. The moment an alternative showed up without them, customers were gone. Debt. All that aggressive expansion left Blockbuster buried. They couldn't invest in the future because they were drowning in the past. And the board. The one moment they were finally doing the right thing. Their own investors panicked and pulled the plug. They chose next quarter. Over the next decade. Blockbuster didn't fail because of Netflix. Blockbuster failed because of Blockbuster. Fast forward to today. There is only one Blockbuster store left at Bend, Oregon, owned by a woman named Sandy Harding, who has been running it since 2000. People fly in from across the country just to visit. It has its own merchandise, its own Airbnb. You can literally spend the night inside a Blockbuster. And Netflix, the company Blockbuster, laughed out of the room, made a documentary about it. The irony is almost too much. Somewhere in Oregon, on a quiet Tuesday afternoon, someone is walking those aisles, picking up a tape, feeling something they can't quite put into words. Maybe it's nostalgia, maybe it's grief, or maybe it's just a reminder that no matter how big you get, if you stop listening to the people you serve, someone else will. Blockbuster had everything: the brand, the customers, the money, the opportunity. They had a chance to buy Netflix for $50 million. They laughed. They had a CEO who was actually fixing things. They fired him. They had a business model that was working. They couldn't let it go. The lesson here isn't really about technology. It's not about streaming versus physical. It's about arrogance. The moment you believe you're too big to fail, you've already started failing. 9,000 stores across the country to just one. That's what arrogance costs. If you had to name one decision that killed Blockbuster, what would it be? Let me know in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to see more of these videos coming your way.